That's right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Breakfast with Boom. I'm your host, MrBooMStickXL, and man, did I put together a panel of incredible people? But more importantly, I put a massive amount of time into today's topics. I think they're all hot button issues, and I think everyone is going to be super entertained for the 2 hours. Let's introduce the panel. First, you know him as the showrunner of the Next podcast. He is considered a Destiny extraordinaire, Halo champion, and all-around fantastic community member, XBot448. Welcome to the show, dude.
What's going on, people? What is going on, chat? I am up bright and early. What is up, panel? Yeah, yo, Boom, you put together an awesome panel. I cannot wait to get into these topics. Of course, I do play Destiny. I'm a huge Halo fan.
You do?
Well, a little bit, but I will let you know the game that has taken up most of my time. Get ready. I hope everybody's sitting down. Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh my goodness, we're going to be talking some Red Dead.
Oh my goodness. I can't wait. Let's get this going, man.
Excellent. Next up, we have the very outspoken panel member of the Saltiest Gaming podcast, someone who specializes in making parodies. He's also considered a stand-up comic and is currently in the hunt to bring Common back to sense. Titan Drago, welcome to the show, dude.
Wow, what a fantastic. How long did you work on that for, man?
Listen, I put a lot of time and effort into this because you know what? It's not about me. It's about my guests and about this community. And I put everyone in front of me. And I wanted to make sure that people knew who you were. Welcome to the show. This is your first time. I'm really glad that you're on the panel.
Oh man, the pleasure's all mine, Boom. Yeah, I've been on RDX, and I'm like you said, I'm a panel member on TSGP. I was wondering when someone was going to ask me on their show. I was wondering if everyone didn't like me or something. You know?
Well, I definitely appreciate it.
I'm glad you opened your proverbial door for me. And if you missed it last night on TSGP, it was like the official Titan Drago roast for a minute there, and we all.
You made some salty gamers even more salty with the PC comments.
Yeah, that's what I do every now and then. And
well, listen, you know what? You're edgy, and you got to make yourself memorable. You certainly do. And next, my brother from across the pond, moderator of the universe, showrunner of the incredible Dazcast, and he is considered a beer drinking professional who is taking lessons from how to hashtag mooch professionally. UK Dazarus. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Boom? Cheers for having us on the show again. Yeah, according to everyone, I drink beer all the time. I'm actually drinking coffee at the moment. Nice. It's only 2:00 in the afternoon. You know what I mean?
Oh, nice. Listen, dude, I'm glad you're here. Big win from, of course, Van.
Yeah, shout out to Midlife Crisis last night. I did a bit of mooching for Red Dead Redemption 2. And fuck me, I won it.
Yeah,
awesome.
I gotta say, I am very proud of you, sir. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you, Xbox, bro. Thank you. Now they can both horse around. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I gotta tell you, Van, he doesn't get the credit he deserves. He is one of the most quality members of this community. He goes out of his way. He's friendly with everyone. He always has a hello and goodbye, which is dope. He does these contests, he's just if you're not following Midlife Crisis, I really need to suggest that you do.
Boom. Not only that, but he is now into gaming podcasts. He's one of the newest members on Coffee Casuals and
yes, that's right. That's good. You know what? Good on you for reminding me, because yes, he will be a guest on this show. I gotta hit him up for that. But yeah, congratulations on that. That's a big get. Again, if you're not following Mel, shame on you. Coffee Casuals and Consoles is fantastic, and it's actually, believe it or not, one of the places where I got my first start. A lot of people don't know that. So yeah, definitely great. That's a big free agent get for you guys.
That's where we first realized that it is great when we disagree.
Yeah,
I gotta say that's one of the first places. That, and of course, Crossfire, which is later on tonight. But those two shows, man.
You know, it's funny. People reach out to me. Do you guys like each other? Like, you guys are always fighting. Wait a second. We love each other. It's like a brotherly disagreement.
Boom. Xbox has that effect.
It's a tri-state area Italian thing is what it is. Mooch understands it. I know BoomStick does. We can talk. We can disagree. We can even yell at each other. But at the end of the day, we're like, all right, brother, let's see you tomorrow.
I'll see you on Destiny.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, listen, we got to get to last, but certainly not least. Community newcomer making his second live appearance on the podcast scene, supporter of literally everyone on YouTube, and one of the finest and most active members on Twitter, the Indie Gamer. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you so much, Boom. It is amazing to be here. It is an absolute honor, and you've curated the best panel I could possibly hope to be alongside. To be honest with you, I'm just in awe of all of you guys, and I'm really looking forward to getting into the topics today and having a great time, to be honest. So yeah, hey everyone in the chat, thank you very much. It's great to be on the panel. I'm representing the chat almost today, but yeah, let's do this. Let's have a great time. Thank you very much again, Boom. Rock it.
No problem. Listen, I got to quickly pay the bills. Caboose V42 with the $25 out of the gate super chat. Listen, if you don't know, and if you've been following me, you'll know that Caboose V42, his amount of super chat that he's donated, not only to me, but to the breast cancer awareness event that I hosted on my channel for the entire month of October, is so humbling. And I have to give him a big shout out because he has been at the forefront of donations, and it is greatly appreciated. Please, if you're not following this dude, Caboose V42 on Twitter, he does know his stuff. He is a quality community member, so give that dude a follow. But you know what? Let's get into what everyone came here for.
Boom, just real quick. I just want to say something to Indy real quick. Yo, Indy, this is how much you are loved from the community. Oh snap! She didn't know you were coming on. She just looked over at the computer. She saw your avatar right there. She's like, "Oh, Indy!" I had to mute myself. She was like, "Tell him we said hi and all this good stuff." So,
amazing.
Snap's gotten you out as well right now.
Oh, that's
and not to mention, you got broken in on the Dascast.
Yes. That'll forever be my initiation.
My bad, Boom. I just had to before I didn't want to get put in the doghouse for not saying that. She said
cheers.
hi and all that good stuff.
You're awesome, Export. Thank you very much. And Snap, thank you very much for that. I love it.
Listen, you know what? That's the wonderful thing about this community. There is a lot of love, respect, and admiration for one another. Everyone supports everyone, and that's the way it's supposed to be. It's a tight-knit community. I got into the game very late. Obviously, I had my career prior to this, and it's a very welcoming community. I mean, obviously, it has its dark side. They all do. Social media, you will have your a-holes and your your people that just want to make it difficult for everyone to have fun. But for the most part, I've had the pleasure of meeting incredible people like Xbot, like Daz, like Titan Dragon, of course now Indy, which is fantastic. But let's move right into a real possible big announcement for XO18. We know that it's in 8 days. Next Saturday, it's going to be a big deal. Most places are going to be having reaction panels. I'm hoping to have one up and running with the Welsh Gamer. I'll see if I can get any guests. But you know what? Here, this is what I wanted. This is the first topic. Could Left 4 Dead 3 be announced at XO18 right along with the purchase of Turtle Rock Studio? Well, in a recent tweet from the official account of Turtle Rock, they were answering a fan's question regarding any new info that the developer would like to share with the community. And this is how they responded. This is the exact tweet. No news to share yet, ... but soon, ! And now this tweet was followed by this. So sorry for the affected people that were affected by the layoffs of Tryon Worlds. We are currently hiring. Pass it along. Now, Turtle Rock has not had anything big in a while, and they're now staffing up. So that makes me wonder if there are any truths to this. Now, there have been rumors circulating since E3 2018 that Turtle Rock Studios may be one of the developers that Microsoft would be interested in. Now, I'm not into coincidences at all, but it is very strange that the Orange Box, Portal 2, Left 4 Dead 1 and 2 were just made available to play on the Xbox One X through backwards compatibility with X enhancements. Now let's take a few minutes to dissect this and this rumor and speculation. Bot, I have to go to you first on this.
All right.
This is a big one, and everyone, and I mean everyone in the community has been clamoring, begging, asking, writing letters, doing petitions, polls about a Left 4 Dead 3. Obviously, those were two big exclusives for the Xbox 360. Mm-hmm. This has the potential to really take away some headlines from the PlayStation marketing machine that has taken over this generation. What do you think about this, and would it be good for Xbox to get this done?
When I first heard about this, I was like, Turtle Rock. I remember Evolve, and I actually had a lot of fun with the game Evolve when it first came out, but that game died really quickly. So with hearing about this, hearing Left 4 Dead, I know Snaps is a huge fan of that franchise, right? Me, myself, I'm not a big Left 4 Dead guy. I will let you know that right now. It is the first game that me and her ever played together. But when it came down to it, I was just playing the game to get to the pretty girl type thing is what I was doing, right?
And it worked, apparently.
It worked. It worked. I put up with it. But here is the thing. When it comes to Left 4 Dead, I can see Left 4 Dead being made. It's kind of like it's a lighter game that you get into and play. I can see it kind of going with what is trending right now with games like Fortnite and stuff like that, kind of like lighter games that you can go in and have fun with and then put it down when you're done. And with that being said, Xbox, they have a tendency to see towards the future. I think they might be thinking that they can have this as their kind of like Fortnite-ish exclusive. And for that, I gotta say, I gotta applaud them for it, because I think, going into the future, these types of games are gonna be played, by the younger generation of gamers, the gamers out there that will spend a lot of time, putting in skins and stuff like that you can earn in the game, seasons and stuff. I think Left 4 Dead would really kind of fit that demographic right there. So I think it would be a good idea. At the end of the day, I think everybody's speculating on new studios. So, whether it's Obsidian, whether it's, Turtle Rock or whatnot. But I know that Xbox is moving to purchase more studios to have a bigger first-party lineup. They have to do it if they're really going to put games into Game Pass. Can you imagine if they have a Fortnite type game? And I'm not saying in terms of Battle Royale, but that lighter game that you can get into and you can play it with Game Pass day and date with all the other games that Xbox has in there.
Dude, it's big. Yeah.
It's a great deal. It's something that, people will be like, you know what? I'm throwing down that $10. They get hooked into that game, playing with it for a month, and before you know it, they're throwing in that money every month for Game Pass. It's a great business decision if they do this, man.
Yes, absolutely. Listen, Titan Drago, I want to go to you next, dude. Listen, Bot had a good point, and I didn't even think about it initially. Xbox Game Pass is a big deal. It's doing very well for Microsoft.
Phenomenal value.
Yeah, I mean, right now they're sitting at 200 plus games, 200 games, but they only advertise 100 for the $10. Mm-hmm. So for $10, you're getting double the games. You're getting first party. We know Microsoft has an open checkbook. We know that there's been rumors about a Left 4 Dead 3 in development, and it would not surprise me in the least that they purchased Turtle Rock Studios and then somehow behind the scenes make the announcement that they purchased the IP from Valve, because Valve hasn't done anything with it. It's sitting somewhere. Microsoft is spending money, and this would be a big deal. What are your takes away on the possibility of XO18 dropping a major bomb like this?
Well, we're gonna get a lot of information on this 2-hour show. It's gonna be 2 hours, so it's gonna be jam packed. It's gonna be an awesome show. I don't know about the game too much. I don't know too much about the game getting released or like a window for that or anything, or even an announcement about the game. But I've made a prediction like a month ago on TSGP that there's gonna be more than one studio acquisition at XO 2018. I made this months ago, and it sure looks like there's gonna be at least two, and we know the two that they're gonna announce. And who knows, there could be more. You know, like I said, Xbox is gonna have 2 Infinity Gauntlets by the time this is all said and done. You know, so like Evolve, that to me that was the most underappreciated game this generation. Like this entire generation, I loved that game. It fell flat. Like it was so fun and so unique. I loved it. And you know what? Left 4 Dead was good, but it had a lot of room for improvement. And can you imagine Left 4 Dead being thrown into the Microsoft family and getting the money thrown at it for development? Could you imagine that improvement? That game will take off.
Yeah, it's a moneymaker because it's a cult classic. It's when you say Left 4 Dead, you think of Xbox 360. It was an exclusive deal. There's nothing saying that even if Microsoft doesn't outright buy the IP, not make some sort of deal with Valve to say, hey, listen, we'll pick up all development costs on the game. We just need to license out the IP. So there is still a possibility, but also there is a possibility that they outright purchased it, and we've been hearing rumors of that. UK Dazarus, I want to go to you on this, dude. Obviously, when you talk about Xbox, you think of multiplayer, right? That it's the multiplayer box. It's the shooter box, right? That's the stigma that it has. One that I'm willing to wear proudly. But this is a game that just screams Game Pass. It screams multiplayer. It screams fun. And it also screams major announcement for a first-party game that's an exclusive. What are your takes away, and are you excited for the possibility of a new Left 4 Dead?
I'm always excited for new possibility of Valve games, Boom. And Left 4 Dead is one of the top ones. I'd also like to see a Half-Life 3 as well. That'll be off the fucking chart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah,
like 2 billion people out there screaming for Half-Life 3.
Yeah, everyone would lose their shit. I've actually just found Half-Life 2 physical as well. I had it on the shelf and I didn't know. Hey, Half-Life. Really nice one. That's getting installed tonight. Yeah, I'm up for it, man. Especially on the X and the Pro and all that. It will look, well, not the Pro, on the X, because it's probably exclusive, and it'll be fucking off the chart with new generation graphics and that, and the possibility of a larger open world as well with more online capabilities. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it if it happens, and it'll be off the chart, man.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it would be one of those major bombs that you talk about years after it's announced. Indy, I want to go to you on this, dude. Left 4 Dead has been in the gamers' minds since the end of Left 4 Dead 2. It is a big multiplayer game. You talk to a guy like Mooch, for instance, he loves it. It was one of my favorite multiplayer zombie games. I loved the story. I loved that each game had a set of different characters. I like the fact that you eventually met all the characters. I thought that was dope. But I think that Microsoft has the potential and to do something that's not expected. And this rumor of a Left 4 Dead 3 has been circulating. If not, and again, we're not just talking about it popping up on the 4chan forums. We're talking about, we've heard from different media outlets talking about this. And this story that I got was from a major community member, D Black Raven, who's always in the chat. He's always giving me hot off the press information. So big shout out to him. But what are your takeaways on the possibility of Microsoft announcing this at one of the biggest events for them since E3 2018?
I mean, I'd personally love to see another Left 4 Dead. But it was a massive hit back in the day. I mean, I didn't actually play it that much. Maybe it's because I didn't have that many friends to play with it. But it was, I think it would work so well. For this climate now, I think it would be an excellent co-op game, that everyone would get their teeth stuck into. I actually saw there was I don't know if you mentioned it a minute ago, but they were saying that they've got a high profile game. Was that what they said? I read it somewhere. I was doing a little bit of research on the topics, and they mentioned it will be a high profile game that they've got to announce or something like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, to be honest, Valve haven't got that many really. I think it was a worldwide known game or something they said. So to be honest, I think there's a good chance of it actually being, Left 4 Dead. But, I know some people might have liked the other name of the other game they did now.
Half-Life.
Half-Life, yeah.
Oh, they did Half-Life as well, didn't they? Yeah, but
yes.
I guess that was back in the day. But no, the other one that was that flopped. Sorry, what was the one?
The hunting game.
Yes,
the 4v1.
Evolve. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm thinking that this would align perfectly with what they would be looking to, capitalize on, at this moment. I think there's a good chance it could definitely happen, to be honest. And I'd love to see it happen because I definitely would, more than I did back in the day. But like at the time, it was such a popular game. I remember it being, so many people were playing it. Like my nephews were all over it. It's the kind of game I'd definitely get into now with a few of you guys and things like that. But yeah, I think it'd be a good one to bring back for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it has potential. Like I said, usually where there's smoke, there's fire. And with gaming shows like this, we're going to talk about something, and a good portion of the time, it's not going to come to fruition. And you know what? That's okay, because that's what we do. We report on speculation and rumors. We give our opinion on it. And if it comes through, we look like geniuses, and if not, we look like boobs, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But you know what? Before I get on to the next topic, and this is a good one, I have to give a big shout out to J Dubs, the graphic god in the chat. If you don't know who he is, he does incredible intros. He's done all my graphics on my channel. He's done all the intros with the motion, without the motion. Listen, if you are new and you want, if you're new to YouTube and you're not sure where to go, hit him up and DM him on Twitter. He has a significant amount of knowledge when it comes to how to start up your YouTube channel. His prices are super reasonable, and he works with everyone. If you want a gamer pick, he'll do those as well. Hit him up, definitely. He's definitely a fantastic community member and someone that everyone should look into. But you know what? Let's get on to the next topic. Batman Arkham Origins Studio is potentially making a couple of open world DC Universe projects. And this information comes to us from WB Studios Montreal's Osama Darius. He confirms that one of those titles is a major console game, and this story I pulled from gamingbolt.com. Now, ever since Rocksteady finished Batman Arkham Knight and released it, they effectively closed the studio's saga with The Dark Knight, and we've heard whispers of what was coming next from them was an open world Superman game and possibly a new game starring Damian Wayne. However, it will be really interesting to see what Rocksteady is going to be doing, but the next couple of DC games are not going to be made by Rocksteady. They're going to be made by the team that did Arkham Origins. And I'm going to say this, okay? Rocksteady is fantastic. They did an amazing trilogy. There's no denying that. But the community and the gaming media, for some very strange reason, shit all over Arkham Origins, which was, by the way, a fantastic game from start to finish. Some of Batman's best rogue gallery characters within there. The opening fight was amazing with Deathstroke. If you haven't played it, it's, as far as I know, not backwards compatible yet. I'd like to see them bring that. But let me ask you,
Mhm.
Do you think that it's high time the gaming world get another Batman game? And are you okay with it not being made by Rocksteady?
Well, to be really honest with you, I'm not a big Batman guy. All right,
Okay.
I see all the success that the Arkham series had, and that's really great. What I really want to see next, first off, I feel that DC is more. I feel like their adaptation to video games would be a lot better than their adaptation to movies right now.
I agree.
All right,
Yes,
I feel like there's more of an acceptance there with video games, even with their characters. Now, with that being said, you know, EA is working on an Avengers game, right?
Yes. Yeah.
So, you know, DC's got to be looking at that, and they're striking a deal. They're getting stuff done. I feel like the next thing that you're going to see is more or less a DC superhero game, kind of to rival the Avengers, knowing that DC has really gotten. They got roots in the video game industry, all right.
Yes,
where
yes, they do.
where
Yeah.
Marvel and Disney, they have, except for Spider-Man, anything before that like was really just kind of like meh.
Yeah.
You know, they never really caught hold in the video game. So with that being said, I think DC's looking at it. I would see more of a kind of like DC hero. You know, maybe not Justice League, because you know the stigma of the movie. Compare,
Yes.
you know, they don't want that coming over, but maybe an open world kind of like DC superhero game. That's what I would like to see. And as far as who's developing it, you know, you got to give developers a chance to spread their wings. Like you said, Origins, you were on board with Origins. I know a lot of people that really did like Origins as a video game. I feel that sometimes, you know, a development team gets a name for it. Like Rocksteady got a name for doing
Right.
doing
Yes.
Batman. So when it was somebody else, they automatically started in the negative when it comes to the community. I feel like that's what happened. It wasn't Rocksteady. Oh, so it can't be that good. You know what I'm saying? And
That's a good point.
and that negativity will just kind of flow through the life of that game. But you know, we got to give developers a chance to really spread out, you know, spread their wings, show their creative nature when it comes to making these things. And whatever we see coming down the line, I at least have a mild interest to see where this is going. I'm hoping it's more like DC, kind of like superhero open world game, though.
Yeah, I agree. I think when you say open world, you think of like Arkham City, right? Arkham Asylum was a little bit. It was open, but it was kind of closed, right? It was a little, you know, you had
a little more linear than
yes. Yes, I would love to see a new, game from them. Maybe even using some of the Bat family, because you know that's been a rumor as well. But you know what, Titan Drug, I want to get to you on this. Bot had a good point. When you say Rocksteady, right?
Mhm.
You think of Arkham. When you say Rockstar, you think of GTA. You know, certain companies have that are not owned by other people, that are not first party Sony or first party Microsoft and Nintendo. You know, you hear them and a game comes in. And WB, you know, they've made some fine games. Like I said, I will continue to beat this drum. Arkham Origins was fantastic. But what are your, first of all, do you think that the video game world needs another Batman game? And are you okay with it not being made by Rocksteady?
Well, you know, like Xbot, I'm also not a quote unquote. I'm not a Batman guy. Like the Origins, I only played one of the Batman games, and that essentially it hit my Batman itch, and I was okay with that. Okay. So I'm all right with another Batman not coming out just for that fact. But my buddy Matt Gilberto and I, who I work and play Smite with this guy, and this guy has been waiting for, and he's been getting me hyped with it too, a Superman game forever. And can you imagine an open world Superman game? Like that would shine right now, I think. And it
would have to be like an open universe game if it's Superman, dude.
There you go. Well, hey, however big they need to make it, but you know, it would sell like Spider-Man. It's got a bigger fan base than Spider-Man, in my opinion. I was always a Superman guy. I love the Smallville series. Give me a hashtag Smallville in the chat if you're with me on that.
Classic.
I loved that series. Tom Welling was the best Superman, in my opinion, ever, whoever acted the part. But the biggest problem with Superman games is how you balance it.
Right, because he's basically unstoppable.
Yeah, and ages ago there was a Superman game where the life bar was the city. The city had the life bar, and I think that could make a comeback, and I think that would be welcome. What do you guys think about that one?
Well, I think that's a really, first of all, you have to think about when that came out, dude. That we're talking
forever ago.
You're talking about Superman 64.
it was forever ago,
right? I mean, so the fact that the city that you were responsible for, and that's what he is, right? Superman takes it upon himself to be responsible for the city. So the city having a life bar is pretty ingenious for where it came from, and could be made in today's times in a way where, you know, you had to stop robberies and murders and things of that nature and invasions, and, you know, you'd have to find a way to have the city prosper after an event. And you'd see the life bar. You know what, dude? You bring up a great point. I had forgotten all about that. That is a really fantastic idea. So I think that there is potential for that. But I want to keep the Batman thing going, because I'm a Superman fan. I could talk Superman for 2 hours. Okay? But UK Dazarus, you know, I want to go to you because you're constantly claiming that you're Batman.
I am Batman.
You know, and so obviously you are a fan of yourself. So while you're sitting there, give yourself an autograph and let me know, what are your takes on the possibility of a new Batman game with you starring you?
So, UK Batterus.
Yes, yeah. I love it. Put that on a shirt.
All right, I'm working on a graphic right now.
Let's get a new intro on the go.
Yeah, change your Twitter, man.
Remember, you heard it first on Breakfast with Boom. I want 10%, bro. Okay.
Yes. One, you'll be shocked to hear that Batman himself has never played Origins.
Okay, that's all right, dude. Trust me, a lot of people didn't, dude. A lot of people didn't.
It might feel weird playing a game featuring yourself. Who knows?
I thought I've played with myself plenty of times, Titan, bro. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? No, but I have played all the Arkham Batmans. You know what I mean? So they're pretty cool. Yeah, I'd like to see a new one, but I wouldn't like to see a Superman one because I can't stand him in them blues, man.
Okay,
the costume's too tight.
Listen, I hear you. You know what I'm saying, but it's pretty interesting that we might actually get one. There has been rumors again.
As long as Batman's in there with him, so he can kick his ass like an Injustice, that's fine with me.
All right, there. Well, listen, we'll make sure that's in the game. But
yeah, I'd like to see might sound a bit weird, but a Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monk style open world. That'd be cool.
Shaolin Monks, dude, that was a fantastic game, dude. A lot of people don't give that any credit. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun.
Instead of your normal open world game, I'd like to see something like that. You know what I mean? With interactive. Yeah, with a lot of interactive backgrounds and stuff like that. That'd be pretty cool.
That's a great point, dude.
Yeah, and shout out to Assassin off Four Guys for Quarters. You ain't not Batman. UK Batterus is Batman. Okay,
I love it. Listen, Indy, I want to get to you on this. You're the last one to talk about this topic. There has been rumors that we are getting a Batman game announcement, possibly at XO18. This was actually one of the first rumors leaked of the XO event. First of all, how cool would it be for a new Batman game to be announced at XO, but more importantly, that the gaming world actually gets a new Batman game?
Well, personally, I think it's easy. Batman is such a popular character, obviously.
Well, thank you very much, Indy.
Yeah. Can't shape around you. You know, God, you throw me every time. I love it. So yeah, basically, Batman's such a popular character. It's easy to go overkill on Batman. I do love Batman, but there's a lot of Batman around. So I think they even need to change it up a bit to the previous games that we've had,
right?
Which have been awesome, by the way. I think they're great games. I love, I love the visuals. I love the immersion on the game. They're fantastic games. But I think they need to change up in some way. Just do it or they need to go down a different route. Maybe do a Superman game. But I think that they're probably quite reluctant to go down a Superman route because it's such a tricky character to design a game around. I would say
it is.
You know, with all the flying and everything like that. Like Xbox said, it'd have to be a universe. And
yeah,
then,
you'd have to go into space for sure.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, it needs a refresh if it's another Batman game, in my opinion. Well, I mean, I would like to see another Batman game, but like I say, with a refresh and a different slant on things, maybe. But like you said, with Damian, that could be a good.
Damian Wayne would be freaking dope. I got one even better for you. How about Red Hood, man? I mean, that would be that'd be such a great game. But
so I think they potentially be looking to put a twist on it. So
they have to.
Yeah,
you can't just release another Arkham City. You can't.
Exactly. Yeah, no, but I mean, whether it's going to happen, there's been so much talk about it. I mean, again, I had a little refresh of what's been going down in that world, and so many videos on YouTube, going back quite a way, saying it could be happening at this event, it could be happening at this event, and then it's been talked about for quite a while. So hopefully it will happen. But
so you're looking for that reboot, huh?
Well, a fresh game, but I mean, I'm just saying there's a lot of people have been talking about it for a while, so I'm not, I wouldn't say it's a definite thing it's gonna happen, but I hope it does.
Yeah, I'd be down for a reboot because looking at all the videos and stuff, like I said, my itch was scratched. I was good after the first one, and it looked like they only slightly expanded upon his abilities and stuff. So
I agree.
Well, but a reboot, in a sense that it's you're like I say, a refresh.
I'd be down for that.
That would be good, definitely.
Having multiple characters to use could also be a great change of pace.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you turn around, you say, okay, listen, Batman's going to be like Batman in Arkham, and I'm okay with that. But you throw someone else in there who just doesn't have the ability to fly around with the cape. Or you get someone like Superman who could logistically be in outer space on another planet doing a mission where it would turn to him. They're all working together to stop a greater threat. And Batman would be in the city, Superman would be in outer space. You can throw a cyborg in there where he's doing puzzles and he's doing, computer stuff, right? Yep. Or you could even take it go crazy and involve like the Green Lantern Corps. You know what I'm saying? That I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. So
I love it.
I'm a big superhero nerd. Everyone knows that.
Awesome.
Yes, X-Bot. I had that album as well. When I was
Ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Yes,
dance with plenty of devils. Yes.
Well, listen, everyone had fantastic points. I have to move on to a big topic. We may be here for a while, and of course, it's in honor of XBot 448.
Oh, we're doing it!
We're doing it live.
Here we go.
New Destiny 3 leak reveals that Bungie is apparently making the game that they wanted to from the start, involving a darker Guardian. Now, earlier this month, the community was fired up, and Bot was one of them, about a recent leak regarding the third Destiny title currently in the works from Bungie. And the name on the source is okay. I'm sorry. Let me just read. I'm going to read verbatim from the actual article. The original leak initiated last week when another user by the name of Future Foe mentioned that Bungie should have a solid base running version of Destiny 3 by now. Now, this is where it gets good.
Yes, sir.
In response, a user by the name of Anon the 9 replied, "Nope. The development is starting right now, and Chris Barrett is going to be the game director, and Luke Smith is still going to be there in a big role." Now, at the time, Anon the 9 didn't give specifics, but now
Anon, let's just put it in proper context.
Yes.
Anon has been dropping things, and
yes, he has
factual things for like months now, talking about like Thunderlord, the exotic quest and stuff like that. So he has been on point with this information. So.
He would be what I would consider an insider because
he's a Bungie employee, man. He's got
you know what, I don't want to be the one saying that on the show because I don't want Bungie dropping a ban hammer on me, but I'm gonna say this. According to Anon the 9, Destiny 3 is entirely a project made from past mistakes, every lesson learned compiled into one. With the Forsaken being such a massive success, it does go to show you that Bungie finally got it right. And Bot, I'm going to go to you on this. First of all, let's talk about Destiny 3. Let's not talk about the other Destinies because we know your love for them. Okay? According to this leak, Bungie is looking to take a darker narrative and tone to the universe.
I can tell you right now that they've been with Forsaken. That's what they have been setting up for.
I agree. I 100% agree. But I want to get a Destiny diehard fan opinion on this. Please let me know and let the panel in the chat know what are your takes away from these leaks, and are you even more hyped now for Destiny 3?
Well, see, I've been hyped all the way through Destiny 2. I didn't get into Destiny 1.
Right. I know you say that.
What they did with D2 is they made it a lot more on the surface, a lot more for the casual, and the story got me hooked into it. And then they put the grind in with Forsaken. And now what they're talking about with Destiny 3, first off, they're going to make it even more hardcore when it comes to the grind, but making it darker. This is something that's really interesting because they have been setting this up in Forsaken. I'm talking to Queen Mara, and she was like, at one point in time, in terms of the Traveler that's on the Earth, she was like, I would have taken that thing out in the beginning if it wasn't for, the people who lived on Earth or whatnot. And people are like, what? Because the Traveler is supposed to be the light. It's supposed to be the good.
Right.
And then with Destiny 3, what they're going to do is they're going to show that each side has something that they kind of believe in, that they're going for, and you will be able to choose whether you use the light in terms of your ability, or if you go and you use the dark.
And that opens up the game in a way that we've never experienced.
Yeah, it's gonna, like, from what you're hearing, we gotta see something. You know what I'm saying? But with this preliminary, what we're hearing, people have asked for this. They have asked for a major grind in the game. People were upset with Destiny 2. Even though Destiny 2 is what got me into this game, there was a lot of like Destiny 1 fans who are like, well, the grind isn't this. Oh, they're just giving everybody everything and stuff like that. And they're like, well, if you feel this is a mistake, Destiny 3, we are going hardcore RPG.
Yes.
You pick the light or the dark. Can you imagine the exotics, like the armor classes for like the dark side of things?
Well, you have to remember, first of all, if you look at what they have currently, right, just with the light, it's staggering the amount of gear. What you're saying, what you're saying live on the air is that we could have potentially double the amount of gear to grind for. And obviously, most people, you and me included, Mooch, the rest of the gang that plays it, are going to have light and dark characters. You can't just play one character. You're going to have to experience, because it's going to technically be like two separate games merged into one, right? It's like the Sith and the Jedi. You're going to want to experience being a good guy and then being just a real MF. And I will do that. Titan Drago, I want to go to you.
Good.
Now, the source also mentioned to not expect any teases until next year, and that this game will be slated for a next generation console release. Now, that's really that wording is saying something, and I'm gonna say, before I get into what your answer is, I want to just speak on that. With that statement, they are explaining that this game is going to be massive. Okay, and that current gen hardware will not be able to keep up with it. I'm all for it. Okay, I'm all for the next generation coming out and playing a game in the way it was the developer wants to, display that game for its fan base. Meaning you're going to get maximum graphics, maximum resolution, maximum size, basically maximum everything. Titan Drago, first of all, are you hyped for Destiny 3? And are you concerned or excited that it could possibly and potentially be only a next-gen title?
And remember, I'm listening, Drago. I'm
right on. It's good because I got a question for you. You know what? I've got all kinds of different feelings about this. Destiny has played with my emotions. Destiny 1 and 2. Anyway,
does that, man.
First of all, Xbot, I gotta know, who's a bigger Destiny fan, you or Punkitish Gaming?
I have to go with bots. I mean, I think Punkitish Bot might just edge him out, but Punkitish plays it like it's life.
Yeah, I can't really compare with everybody else because, like I said, I didn't get into Destiny 1. So if that's a negative within this whole thing, then I'm gonna take that negative and be like, well, yeah, I can't be as.
But you're definitely gonna put yourself on par at his level with Destiny 2, right?
Oh, definitely, man. Definitely.
Right. I challenged Punkitish Gaming to give a guy like me who's played Destiny 1 and never fell for the Destiny 2 bait. Right, I didn't fall for Destiny 2. Like, I liked the first one, but it got old. I challenged him to give me a reason to come back for Destiny 3. Now, a Darker Guardian on next-gen hardware, like Boom said, like that could potentially do it. Granted, this alone isn't going to bring me back, but it's a good, intriguing start. You know what I mean? They also said, when you read that, they said this is the Destiny they wanted from the start. Well, I got a problem with that. I mean, it only took you how many years to get where you wanted to start at?
It would be the third iteration to get to the starting point.
Trees mature faster than Destiny. It's like that's a problem for me. The biggest problem for me with the game is the value of the game because. Like, you buy the game for $60, then you got to buy DLC, which is not cheap, which comes often. And that's the biggest problem for me.
All right. Well, check this out. As far as a reason to get back into Destiny 2, I got 2 words for you, and that's Dreaming City. The Dreaming City aspect of Forsaken is one of those places that has kind of like the most activities I have ever seen. Whether you want to do a horde mode going into the blind well, if you want to do strikes that are really like beautiful in their graphic design and their kind of like layout and their challenge, the strikes at the Dreaming City are the best. And then you have the raid, which with this raid, you saw how many people completed it when it first came out. There was like 3 groups, and where you look at past raids and stuff, there were people in the thousands that would beat it. So there's a challenge there. There's a grind there. There's more events going on. I think Bungie has listened in terms of, well, if you don't have Forsaken, every time we don't have the season pass, every time we're dropping DLC, we're also giving you more events and more things to do, more weapons to grind for as well. Every single time that they're dropping a bit of DLC that comes with the raid layer and stuff like that, people who don't have the season pass are still getting new legendary weapons to grind for. They're still getting new events to get into. They're getting new content as well.
Good. That's
so
good.
I think they're listening to what's going on. Yes, it has taken them forever. You count the rings inside the Destiny franchise, and there's a lot of rings there, man. But I guess you can say better late than never. What I feel is going to be really interesting is, EA is making Anthem to kind of go up against Destiny with this type of thing. I feel like Anthem is going to be more on that casual level. I
think you're right. I think
people who want that hardcore grind and everything, the more and more they hear from Destiny 3, the more and more they see that it's not going to be, hey, we're just going to hand you these exotics and stuff like that, and you're really going to have to work for them and get into the game. I think that's going to grab a lot of attention from like hardcore kind of like grind type game players.
You know, being on the next gen console is what's going to set Destiny 3 apart from
Great point.
From that, yeah.
Great point, Drago. That you're absolutely right. They're going to be able to dream big.
Yeah.
Well, when it comes to Anthem, see, I like where you're going with that, and I would normally agree with you. But with Xbox talking about forward and backwards compatibility, I have a feeling that Anthem is going to play great on Xbox One X, everything like that. Moving into Scarlet, I think you're going to get an incredible enhancement and improvement in Anthem because EA is working closely with Xbox. You see what they when they unveiled Anthem, it was with Xbox. You see them like working kind of like hand in hand with this, and I feel like they're putting that forwards compatibility. They're developing that game to move into Scarlet as well, man.
Yeah, the potential for not only both games, but for Destiny 3 to really up the ante, if you will, are just huge, especially if it's going to be next gen. Any other points, Titan Drago?
No, that was pretty much it. But that, like you said, that's a huge part, and that's what's going to set Destiny apart from Anthem. I don't know why I can never remember Anthem's name.
Yeah, well, hopefully everyone will remember it when it comes out in February.
I hope so. Yo, it's looking like a great game as well.
And we're going to be talking about that as well. UK Dazarus, listen. Anon the 9 also went into a few specifics, saying that the Guardian will instead utilize the power of the darkness, or if you're an old bastard like me, the dark side, because of course I grew up with Star Wars, which was a huge theme in Destiny 2's latest expansion. So my question to you is, the change that is potentially coming to Destiny 3, do you think that it's going to really propel the series into something beyond it already being the special series that it is?
I'm not sure. Boom.
That's an honest answer right there.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like I have Destiny 2. Shout out to Juddzilla for gifting me that a while ago.
Nice.
I've only hit level 2. Yeah, I didn't have to mooch that. He just gifted me because he's a good lad. Anyway, I've only hit fucking level 20 on it. You know what I mean? And something else comes along, so I'm not into all this raids and stuff like that. But it's a game I'm looking forward to getting into more. But on the other side, as it being a Scarlet exclusive, I think that's going to be, well, to the next gen, that's going to be the case because they're going to bring that much DLC out for Destiny 2 at the moment, I think, to get that cash grab, you know what I mean? So
all about that cash grab.
Yes.
Yeah, well, listen, when you say cash grab, two companies come into mind: Activision and EA. So let's hope that is not the case.
And also, Xbox, are you fucking muting yourself in your vape because I can't hear you today?
No, dude, I am leaning towards my fan. I got the fan blowing out the window, and I'm trying to find a way to do it like under the radar. Where your supersonic hearing can't hear it, and I'm doing a great job today.
You are doing.
I'll just randomly put vape in chat, and maybe I'll get it right then.
Hey, a broken watch is right twice a day, right?
That is.
Yeah, you're not fucking kidding, man.
All right. Well, listen, we're going to close out this topic with Indy. Hey, listen, Indy, this is this new information, this leaked information from, again, Anon the 9, who has been dropping major bombs. This isn't coming from 4chan forums where you'll get a guy named Anonymous. This guy is out there. He's dropped major bombs. And this new information for Destiny 3 with the darkness possibilities, and also the fact that it may only be on next-gen consoles. Do you think that this is going to expand the fan base or potentially hurt sales because people are going to feel slighted that they have to buy the next-gen console?
Well, I think Destiny is a pretty divisive subject, it seems, in the chat anyway. It's like you have diehard fans of it, and you've got people who just really not into it. And I fear saying it, but it's not really my bag.
No, it's okay. Listen, dude, not you got to remember, not every game is for every gamer. That's reality.
Especially since Destiny 2 slapped a lot of people in the face at the beginning.
I tried Destiny 1, and I didn't really get into that, so I didn't try Destiny 2, if I'm honest. I mean, I don't know if it changed it up that much, or I mean, I hope Xbot is not just turned his back on me now. So
He like mutes his mic and starts.
I can feel him. I can feel him turning his back on me right now.
He's calming himself down, Lindy, with a fake at the moment. You know what I mean?
My face is all red. I got steam coming out my ears right now.
Yeah, it's like on your avatar. That's what that red is. Anyways, yeah. So I mean, I think it will keep its fan base. Look for. I think it has a strong fan base. People who are strongly into that game. It's. I don't know if it'll win any new people over. I'd have to see what they're going to do with it and stuff like that. I would definitely give it another go. But I mean, I'd have to change it up quite a bit. I keep saying that today. I'd have to change it up, but I think in this case again, it would have to. It'd have to do something to pull me in, which is
free DLC, Indy. Yeah,
maybe a bit of mooching.
Indy, I gotta ask you. Yo, Indy, I gotta ask you a question when it comes to this, because you said they gotta change it up. I hear a lot of people say they gotta change it up. I feel that with the developer being Bungie, I am a huge Halo fan, right? But I know the community is always at odds with each other. There's always like the old school, like they should keep the game like this, and there's always the new school. It's like, why? No,
that's the problem, isn't it? Yeah,
and I feel like the base of the Destiny fan base is kind of like that same way. So when you say change it up, like what would you mean? Like what would you need for them to do, man?
Well, if I'm honest, that because they've got that fan base, it would be in their best interest to maybe not change it up, if you know what I mean, because they want to appeal to that strong fan base that they've got. But that would, if it was, I mean, I think it's just the whole the leveling up, all that sort of stuff. That kind of is fundamentally, it's sort of not up my street, if you know what I mean. Okay. I mean, I know it sounds weird. Leveling up is not on my street when it obviously pretty much every game you play nowadays is, but it's just sort of like it's intrinsic to the game, isn't it? That whole sort of like leveling up system is very. I mean, I like narrative base, more games that are focused upon the narrative, that kind of thing. I feel like you're turning your back on me again.
No, I'm listening to what you're saying. No, it makes sense. Like with me, like you guys know, I don't rank games as a 10 out of 10, right? So even the games I absolutely love, I know there's room for improvement. Like when it came to Destiny 2, I hated the raid layers. I hated the fact that we kept going back to the Leviathan. I know they thought it was a great idea and it saved on development time and stuff because you were reusing the same kind of like worlds and stuff, where Destiny 1, every single raid was in a different place and had it
was its own unique thing.
Like I feel like moving forward, that's where they need to go. It looks like they're doing that with Forsaken because they have the new Dreaming City raid, but it looks like the new raid layer coming in December is actually in the EDZ instead.
Wow.
So they're already changing that up. So I'm happy about that. But like I see a lot of people in our community, our close-knit community, there is a negativity when it comes to this game. And I also feel like some of that negativity is from us YouTubers. There's a lot of like bigger name YouTubers than me out there. Anytime you say Destiny, they kind of like make a joke out of it and say, okay, moving on. And I think a part of the negativity is from us as well. Yeah,
I definitely think it's got sort of it's made itself almost like a niche sort of genre of its own, hasn't it? Like I think that's the thing. It's like maybe it's just that didn't dig the first one, then I sort of wrote it off, and maybe I've just been closed-minded to it ever since, and I should give it more attention as to see. But yeah, it's sort of like that's the thing. You're burnt by it once, and then you sort of write it off because there's so many other games, I guess.
I completely understand where you're coming from. I know a lot of people, even the Don who's in the chat right now, like he was into Destiny 1. He played Destiny 2 for a while, and he got completely burnt out. He was like, you know what? I like Destiny 1 better for certain things. And, at the end of the day, every gamer is different. I just feel like with the community, there's always going to be a split there because inherently a split community follows Bungie. You know what I'm saying? So you're always going to have, well, I want it this way group and I want it that way group. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Yeah. You can't appeal to everyone. That's the thing. If you try and appeal to everyone, you appeal to no one. That's the problem.
Exactly.
Batman can appeal to everyone.
That is true. UK Batteris.
UK Batteris.
I love it. I'm expecting some changes to the Twitter and YouTube account forthwith.
Can't wait.
Oh, you're going to get a new Twitter avatar on there. Don't worry about it.
I love
rebrand.
Hey, listen, you know what? I'm going to segue into what we were talking about seconds into the Destiny, because when you talk Destiny, right, you immediately there has been comparisons to Anthem. And for me, this is just for me, folks, February could not get here soon enough. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think BioWare fans...
Crackdown, right? That's why. Crackdown?
Yeah, Crackdown. That is correct. I think BioWare fans are anxiously awaiting to try out the studio's latest IP for a lot of reasons. A big staple in BioWare games in the past, such as Dragon Age and the Mass Effect series, is that they're telling beautiful stories crafted in a way that throws the player all in. These branching narratives is what BioWare is known for, but Anthem is shaking things up in a really interesting way. You know, you're going to get your story. You're going to get your character-driven arcs, but you're also going to get some massive boss battles. You're going to get that collectathon of armor, different armor types. The fact that when you're going out, you can pick a different armor set. There's four different armor sets that can go. Like me, I'm going to use the big tank one. I'm 6 feet, 218 pounds. I'm a kind of a big dude. So that's my immediately I took to the bigger mech type. But producer Mike Gamble took to Twitter alongside Ben Irving, who is obviously they're part of the development team, to reveal that they were going to release an upcoming stream. Now, I sent this video in the DM, and I'm not sure if anyone has seen, that's in the chat or going to eventually listen to this show. Did you watch the video? I'll include it in the show notes. I suggest you check it out. And I'm going to say this. After watching the video, I saw 15 minutes of new footage that blew me away for so many reasons. And I'm going to add, now here's a question to the panel. Has your hype meter moved? Or are you holding judgment until you get your actual hands on the demo that's expected to launch very early in 2019? Bot, I want to go to you because obviously you're the Destiny guy, and Anthem is being compared. It's Destiny-like. It's going to be like Destiny. Are you hyped for Anthem, and could it possibly pull you away from Destiny 2? Oh, Bot actually stepped away. He's muted. All right, so you know what? I'll come back to him. Titan Drago, I want to go to you, dude.
All right, well,
Anthem is going to be a big deal. It's been compared to being the next Destiny. It's actually been called the Destiny Killer, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I sent the video. Not sure if you watched it. I got hyped for it. Has your hyped meter moved at all?
Now, I try not to watch those videos. I don't like to. I don't know. It's weird. I really don't care for those trailer videos because I see good and bad in them. But my hype meter is literally like frozen in place right now. I'm going to call that the Red Dead Redemption 2 effect. So it's like, as far as BioWare goes, I don't have a lot of opinion on this game because, it's so new and there's so much we don't know about it. But so I'm going to use history as far as BioWare goes. And years ago on PC, when I played a couple games on PC, I played a game called Baldur's Gate 2. Have any of you guys played that game?
Great game, dude. What a classic.
That game was so far ahead of its time as far as RPGs went. And that game alone made me a BioWare fan. And this was from years ago. So What I have a question for you guys is because, like, how far is Anthem from that at first? Like, do you guys know if it's going to be heavily RPG based or not? Because that's what I would really like to see, it like heavy RPG aspects, because they did it so well in Baldur's Gate 2.
You know, I mean, look, we got to say this. BioWare has a storied history. You know, you think BioWare, you think Knights of the Old Republic, right? You think Dragon Age. You think, of course, Mass Effect. Which
they are crazy good with creating stories.
Let's call a spade a spade. Now, unfortunately, the company has hit a bit of a snag with the last. I mean, that's
you are being nice right there, dude.
I know. You know, I like being a gentleman. I think I come across as that. That is me. I'm
unlike you, bot.
But you know what? They hit a bit of a snag with Andromeda. A guy like me, I put think 30 something hours into it, and you know, it didn't hook me. You know what I'm saying? Like when I played the first Mass Effect, I was so enthralled with the universe, being such a big Star Wars fan, and I was like, this guy, Captain Shepard, I want to clean his boots. I want to, you know, come to his quarters and say, hey, dude, you know, I'll carry you to your ship, right? So I was a big fan of the character, and you know, it just never resonated with me in a way that the other 3 games before it did.
Well, you know what else didn't resonate with people was the ending to the 3rd one.
Yeah, that's a lot of people felt the type of way about that, and they had to go and now was that. Yeah, you know what? I agree with that. I was a little taken aback with the ending myself, but you know, we're trying to put that behind us. We're trying to remove.
We're trying to move on positive.
We're trying to, you know, say that our glass is half full. The BioWare glass.
What ending? What are you talking? What ending?
Yeah, what happened? What I have in the right hand, you don't. Oh, I have something in the left hand. What was the right hand? I don't remember that.
You don't want to know what I've got in my right hand.
Well, I don't think anybody wants to know. I was thinking something more nasty, but you know, hey, listen, this is an adult show. But I want to go to you, dude. Look, you're a big Destiny fan. I think that's blatantly apparent. But you know, I sent the video in the DM. I watched the video twice because I usually do. I really want to get my teeth sunk into what I'm going to talk about, so I don't sound like a boob. And I like being professional like that.
Okay.
But what I saw in the 15-minute video, for me, as a fan of BioWare and someone who grew up with Robotech, like I was a big Robotech guy back in the 80s, and the idea or the ideology of being able to play a game where you're flying around in a mech suit, oh man, that just gives me goosebumps.
Oh yeah.
Did this video, the latest, you know, trailer, if you will, gameplay trailer, did it move the meter for you? And could this game potentially be a game that pulls you away from something like Destiny 2?
You know, like I said it before when we were talking about Destiny, it seems to me like when Anthem does come out, it's going to be kind of like when Destiny 2 first came out. But the thing with Anthem is there isn't a previous installment for people to compare it to.
Right.
So I am really interested in this. I want to see how kind of like the drops work in this game. I think the game looks absolutely beautiful. And when you have such a big game that they want you to spend a lot of time in, graphics are even on a higher level of, you know, importance when it comes to games like that. You look at Red Dead Redemption, a lot of people talk about, you know, riding on the horse. There's so much horse riding in that game. But I'm like, yeah, but when the background is so alive, there's so many things going on and it looks that great, you don't really mind doing all that. You don't mind spending the time in that world. And I think that's what they're doing with Anthem. I was hyped before it. Every time more gameplay comes out, you get to see more about it, the more excited I get for the game. I don't think it'll be something that would necessarily take me away from like Destiny, but it'll be just another one of those games that to put right next to Destiny in terms of games that I'm going to play. And it's crazy because now seeing how how popular like these open world kind of like grindier games are becoming.
Yep.
Like, dude, I can only take so much. Like, I didn't think I was gonna get into Red Dead Redemption. You guys know my history.
Yeah, you did say you said live on Crossfire. It's just not your bag. Yeah,
I was 100% into that, and now I got to come out with a video on my channel talking about the stuff I really do like about it. I already did kind of like my first impressions, but
I saw that. Yeah,
I think people are gonna be pleasantly surprised at what I say about that game. But I can see carrying a trio. A Bungie game, a Rockstar game, and a BioWare game, and just kind of going back and forth between them, seeing what type of like seasonal events are going on and stuff like that. I mean, I can rock that trio. I don't know how many more. So, shout out to 343. I love what you guys are doing with Halo, but please don't go this route, because then I don't know what I'll do if I get another development.
Get him away from the window. Get him away from the window.
Like, dude, I'll never see outside again if 343 does the same thing. So, but I'm excited for it. I think a lot of people out there are. I think another thing with EA is they overcame some of that negativity when it came to Anthem, because there was a rocky road. There.
Well, you got to remember, what are they coming off of, Bot? Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Yeah, to me, they're still on that rocky road for me.
No, it makes sense, dude. Listen, you have every right to feel that way. They have to earn your trust again, and we know who EA is. Unfortunately, money and numbers and player counts are more important, and that's blatantly apparent. But I got to give a shout out to the Don. He says BioWare has the advantage from learning from Bungie's past mistakes, and you know what? That's a fantastic point. But UK Dazarus or UK Batterus, I want to go to you on this. Anthem has the potential to shape up to be something special in a lot of ways. We know we're going to get the standard BioWare strong character arcs and the storytelling that we've known and come to really appreciate about that company, but their foray into the multiplayer action part is something that we've seen in, of course, their previous Mass Effect games, but they're taking it to another level. Are you excited for February? Or are you kind of just holding back judgment to see what your takeaways are when you actually play it in January through the demo?
Yeah, I'm just holding back, Boom. I'm not actually hyped for the game at all. There's that much shit out at the moment, Boom. Yeah. I'm not really bothered. I'm not going to get excited and escape from the Batcave. Not just yet, you know what I mean? So I'm just going to sit back and see what happens to it without watching too much, taking too much in until near the release. To be honest with you.
I mean, listen, dude, that's fair. And to be honest with you, we are still only in November. We still have 3 or 4 months before we actually get its release. So yeah, there's time to enjoy what we're playing.
There's too much going on at the moment for it to really bother me.
There's no delay.
Yeah. I hope not, dude. I would be kind of mad.
There is a rumor, in the back alleys of YouTube, gaming YouTubers, that there might actually be a delay when it comes to Anthem. I do know a couple people that know people at EA, so if you guys are watching right now, let me know if there's like any credibility to that. But Boom, if I could just one more thing I wanted to add here, because it's something that I am really excited about. I promote it a lot, and it seems like every time we're talking about moving forward with games, how great is Game Pass? Because with me being an Xbox gamer, in February, we're getting Crackdown. Whether you love it, whether you got kind of rolled up in the negativity that people were talking about. I thought every time I saw Crackdown, even though they were picking people who couldn't play their way out of a wet paper bag to play this game, I thought it was looking great. All right. And to have Game Pass now, where that game day and date will be in Game Pass. So I don't have to think about, oh man, instead of thinking about, well, I would like to buy Anthem, but I also need to buy Crackdown as well because I'm excited for that game. Having Game Pass takes that $60 out of the equation.
Yes, it does. It's
You know,
smart.
and I gotta, anytime this pops up, I'm like, damn, how great is having a service like that? For actual like Sony fans out there, I'm not talking about the extremists, I'm not talking about the fanboys, but those fans out there, you guys, you gotta go to Sony and be like, you know what, you guys gotta do you gotta do this as well, man.
Yeah, you're 100% right because originally February 22nd it was going to be a monster of a day, 4 games. And as it stands right now, we think we're getting Crackdown possibly a week, maybe 2 weeks earlier. That's the rumor. I think we're gonna get a very specific release date at XO. We know that Sony delayed Days Gone up until the end of April, and all we have left is Anthem. Now you're saying there's a possible delay in that, and of course, what the hell's the 4th game?
Metro.
The Metro, yes, Metro Exodus. Thank you for that, Indy.
That's right.
So yeah, Game Pass. You know what? Game Pass takes the pressure off of big months like that, where you really don't have to worry about. And again, you got to remember, once Microsoft starts rolling into these first parties, and we're getting games, 3 and 4 or 5 games a year, that's where you're going to see the value even explode even better.
Boom, even the end of 2019, if you think about it, Gears is coming out and they're going to put it in the holiday season. And a lot of, I know, Boom, you're one of the people. I know Gears is probably one of the few franchises that you're like, you know what? You could drop it anywhere in the year and it's going to sell. Right. But a lot of people talk about, well, why are you doing that now with Call of Duty coming out? Because a new Call of Duty comes out every year and it always sells in the millions. But now with Game Pass, people don't have to save that $60 for Gears. They could put $10 down, to start playing that on its release date, and they can still put in that $60 for that next Call of Duty that a lot of people play. I think it relieves the pressure in terms of getting the game out there to gamers as well at those really pivotal times when a lot of developers are kind of jockeying for consumers, man.
No, I agree. I agree. But listen, Indy, we're gonna just round out this because I really want to get your opinion. Anthem, obviously, we know that as it stands right now, with not knowing any back alley information, which is probably true, and I'm going to be disappointed. I'm going to be honest because I'm really, and I mean really, looking forward to Anthem.
Yeah, I mean,
what are your takeaways on this? Because you know what, this video that they just posted was the first time that we've gotten some more gameplay in quite a bit. The previous inside look occurred during where they explained the story trailer at PAX West, and that was earlier this year. What were your takeaways from the trailer?
Well, like I said earlier about Destiny, it wasn't my sort of game, but I'm still obviously open to it. But like with Anthem, that could be the kind of game that would bring me into it. I mean, from what I've seen of it, all right,
that's it. I'm out of here. I am out of here now, man.
That's it. I've done it now.
You're fired.
I love you, X-Squad.
I love you too, brother. Yeah, just messing with you, man.
Anyway, no, I mean, it's got an allure to it. It's got the sort of Matrix feel to it, if you know what I mean. Like we as a team we're moving around in sort of, because it's not set in this world, is it? It's another world. It's kind of, I don't know. It's just got an allure to it. It's beautiful. Obviously, it looks amazing. Maybe I'm just I'm being sold by graphics, which I shouldn't be, because it's obviously down to a lot more things than that. But I mean,
it is BioWare, though. I mean, you can take that into account. That even though they with a rocky start with Andromeda, it's still BioWare, man.
Yeah, and the other thing about them as well is they're well known for their strong narratives, branching narratives, and stuff like that, and that's really appealing to me. That's as a strong. I know I always like a good story in games. I'm probably more predominantly a single player gamer, to be honest.
Me
with
too.
you.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah. So I like games like that have strong narratives, and they tell a story and hopefully put you on a play with your emotions a little bit. It's always nice. But I just think that's you know, that kind of thing would bring me in more. That part of the game. The combat looks pretty tight in it from what I've seen. They're showing quite a lot of it, but I still feel like the same as Daz in a way. I do need to see more. I think I would wait for reviews on this game personally. I don't think I'll dive in on day one. I'll probably be checking out, you know, reviews and judging it on that basically. But yeah, and also there's obviously the EA factor. Hopefully they're not gonna do too many microtransactions, etc. But
you know what? If they listen, and that's another thing. I didn't bring it up, but you just said it, so I just kind of want to elaborate what you're saying. The issue is this: if they're going to bring up microtransactions and it's cosmetic, where like they say, for instance, it's EA, right? Yep. If you're telling me, and I'm going to be honest with you, I might be a part of the problem, but I will gladly admit it. If you're telling me that I can get an N7 skin for one of my mechs,
that sounds good.
Where do I pay? Okay,
take
my freaking money, please.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah,
you know, I mean, think about this. The EA has the strong contract with Star Wars. Could you imagine one of the mechs looking like a Darth Vader helmet or something to that, or one of the mechs looking like a stormtrooper? Listen, take my money, please. EA,
it'll never happen, Boom.
I know, but you know what? Listen, I'm gonna say this. I don't have this on good information. This is just my opinion. But because I'm such a huge, and I mean I'm a huge Titanfall fan, do expect Titanfall skins to make it onto these mechs.
That would be awesome.
And again, take my money. I'll sign the waivers right now.
On that one, definitely.
Good.
Sorry,
you have anything else, Cindy?
Sorry, I just said something. My Siri started up for some reason.
Oh, that's okay. No.
Probably shouldn't keep my phone so close. No, that's about it. What was I going to say? Like I say, waiting to see. You know, they're great. They're great company, and you know, hopefully it does turn out to be an awesome game. It's got a lot of potential.
Yeah, I agree.
BioWare, they're kind of depending on this game, to be really honest with you.
Yes, they are. This is a big deal for them.
It's an all or nothing thing, unfortunately. And I know a lot of people, you know, they blame EA when it comes down to it, because EA, you know, studios under EA, they have a tendency to either sink or swim. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, you know, with the history of BioWare, you know, you talked about a couple titles that are going to go down in gaming like industry history. It is sad to see that they are now into an all or nothing situation when it comes to Anthem, man.
Yeah, it really is. It is kind of like they're all in on this. Let's hope that they win the pot, because BioWare is a storied company, and it would almost be a crying shame if somehow or another they were put to bed, like Versatile Games and a few other companies that have eventually were bought out by EA. They're notorious for that. But you know what? Indy, you said something that I thought was pretty cool. I'm a single player guy myself. I grew up with them. I love multiplayer, but I would take a strong single player game 10 out of 10 times, to be honest.
Yeah.
The Last of Us Part 2 has made some news, and according to the designer, this is what Ashen Ehorn had to say on Twitter, and it's got my gears grinding with excitement. I don't think I've ever been. This is what he's saying. And I quote: "I don't think I've ever been more excited about a game I'm working on while I'm actually making it. This thing is going to be," and I quote, "freaking unreal. Hashtag The Last of Us Part 2. Hashtag Game Dev." Now, let's say this. Let's face facts, folks. Sony's first party in this generation has been nothing short of astonishing. I'm a huge fan of their third-person, adult-themed, single-player, story-driven titles, and I've been very open about that. I know that I'm stoked about The Last of Us 2 shaping up to be amazing, but I want to know what the panel thinks. And Bot, I want to go to you. This is going to be a big game. It could possibly be the biggest game that that Sony puts out. Obviously, Naughty Dog, they're just they're one of the industry's finest. I'm excited to see where they take Ellie. I'm really interested to see what happens with Joel because they haven't showed him, and I'm a little nervous. I'm going to be honest. But what are your takeaways that when a developer who's actually working on the game makes a quote like this, and you know what? When I see stuff like this, I can actually feel the dude's excitement. What are your takeaways on that, though? Oh, bot is muted once again. Oh, well, okay. Well, Titan, I'll go to you. Take it away with the question that I made for bot. I have to look. I'm trying to read the chat, read the thing. Being a host isn't easy, folks.
I feel you, man. But it's like good. It's like this is what Sony does best. They have to succeed with games like this. It's their bread and butter. It's what they make their living off of. It's what it's half of every PlayStation extremist argument for this generation. I personally can't stand Sony. I'd sell a PlayStation if it was mooched to me right now. So I mean, I'm sorry, I really don't have too much to say about this because I can't stand Sony. They're so anti-consumer. I can't stand it.
Yeah,
but you know what? I do hope a game like this succeeds because competition is good. We need competition. Microsoft needs competition. If Sony did not succeed with games like these and sell so many consoles, we would. It's without a doubt in my mind, we would not have Game Pass today.
You know what? Well, listen. Unfortunately, we go back to the beginning of this generation. We know some mistakes were made by Microsoft, who at the time was in the lead because of their past success with the 360. And listen, hat off and a tipping bow to Sony, who just saw the fumble, picked it up, and ran back the other way and scored a touchdown. I mean, that's sports, all right? Right.
Yep,
so that's. Good on them. And you know what? Listen, Sony appeals to a wide range of players. But for my play style, their single player games are something I know I really dig. And I know that a lot of people are like, wow, Last of Us kind of looks like this one, and this one kind of looks like that one, and God of War looks like that. Look, if that's not your bag, I hear you. I get it. But I love their gritty third-person perspective, and that they are not afraid to put a massive budget into a single-player game.
And that's another problem for me because I am like I think it was you and Indy said you guys are primarily single-player gamers, right? Like I'm primarily a multiplayer gamer. I'm on the other side of the fence with that.
Gotcha.
So I really struggle with connecting with PlayStation even in this, even though there are great games from what I hear, and that's kudos to them. And that's all the kudos you're going to get from me because they're so anti-consumer.
No, listen, dude, that's your opinion. You're absolutely entitled to it. And you know what? You have to respect it. You're being honest. I think that's really what sets you apart from a lot of these faker He-Mans that are on other shows, right? You go out there and you say, listen, this is the way it is. And if you don't like my opinion, I get it. But this is my opinion, so I definitely respect that. UK Dazarus, I want to go to you on this.
Hold on, mate. Just go someone else first because my little daughter's just come home from school.
You got it, dude. No problem. No problem.
Sit.
There you go.
Hey, listen, folks.
That's his response.
This is real life. Sometimes life gets in the way, right? That life always finds a way. We don't have Dark Optimus to do his impression, but Indy, I want to go to you, dude, and I kind of really want you to elaborate on this because you and I are in the same boat. We're a little bit older, right? We came from an era where single player games ruled the roost, if you will. And for me personally, as a gamer, it's what I gravitate towards. Like, for instance, a Red Dead Redemption 2. I've put over 50 hours into it already, and I think I'm only like 31% done with the game.
Nice.
But it's a strong single player game that gives you a lot to do.
Yeah.
Obviously, The Last of Us Part 2 is going to be a big get for Sony, and it's going to be a much bigger game. I would not be remotely surprised if it's double the size of the original. Sony is notorious for expanding on their universes with their games. A prime example of that is God of War, which really just flipped everyone's expectation on its head. It was my game of the year, of course, until Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and that ruined it for me. But what are your takeaways from The Last of Us 2? Are you excited for another strong single player game from Sony?
Well, if I'm honest, I haven't got a PlayStation, but
That's okay. That's fine.
I'll base it. I mean, I base it on what I've seen of the game so far, which is largely from what I saw at E3, which was amazing. Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, I love single player games. So if potentially you might say, "Well, you're a perfect candidate to pick up a PlayStation." It's just I've always loved Xbox. It's great for people who have PlayStation. That's fantastic. But just to focus on, my answer is focused on the game for now, though. Which personally, if it was on Xbox, I would probably be picking it up day one. So I think it looks amazing. I haven't played the first one, but games like that are the perfect. That's really my kind of game. It's stories like that, brilliant. It was so good that people were questioning whether it was actually in engine, as you probably remember.
Yes, and that probably was running in engine. It is Naughty Dog, and you know what? I will give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason to doubt them other than probably to make themselves look better, obviously. But I mean,
hold on, there's one real big thing I have to say about this in-engine thing. There is a difference between in-engine gameplay, where you're actually inputting commands to the game and moving your character around.
Yes.
That's different from in-engine gameplay that's a cinematic sequence. Two very different things. Sorry.
No. That is a fair point, because
it's a good point to make, definitely. But it's hard to tell, obviously, from a demo, which could easily be arranged either way. But it's only going to come back to bite them in the end. So if they did pull the wool over people's eyes, then when the game releases, people are going to notice it then. So, but yeah, I thought it looked great. Like I say, I'd pick it up if it was on Xbox. I'm not bitter that it's not on Xbox. There's plenty for us to be playing, but yeah, it looks good. It looks great.
Well, I'm going to say this. You have to look at what Sony has been able to do, even with the base PS4. We're not talking about the Pro, because we know that it's not that much more powerful. But you take a game like God of War, and that game was big. They did some things with Kratos and his son that no one, including myself, expected. I'm expecting with The Last of Us Part 2 to be taken in that direction, where it's just going to be a big map with a lot to do. Because yes, The Last of Us 1, some people absolutely hate it. Take a guy like Crap Gamer, for instance. He loathes that game. He thinks it's the biggest piece of crap that Sony put out, and he says that publicly. People are ready to start breaking out the torches and pitchforks.
Different story if it was on Xbox, mate.
Yeah, no, and you are right for that. You are right for that. But UK Dazarus, listen. Sony is going to be Sony. We know. I'm a big fan of their marketing. We know what just recently happened with the 4K commercial, playing 4K Red Dead Redemption 2. They're getting a lot of backlash. But we're not talking about Sony. We're talking about Naughty Dog. And they are a company who has proven themselves time and time again. They are a storied development house. And I think that, we haven't seen a lot on The Last of Us 2. But, Neil Druckmann and those guys, they just know how to make games, man. And I'm really excited. I don't know if you have a PS4, or would this game possibly get you to buy a PS4, or hashtag mooching a PS4.
I'll take some mooching to get a PS4.
Yeah.
But what are your takeaways on, first of all, I mean, we're talking about The Last of Us 2, but more so, we're talking about the developer doing this tweet. And his excitement comes right through the lines, What are your takeaways on his excitement for the game, and should that translate to fans being even more excited?
Oh yeah, I'm watching the trailer right now, and I can tell you it looks the dog's bollocks. That's a good thing, peeps. Batman will solve you this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those freckles, man. Yeah. And I would not get a console just for one game.
That makes sense.
No.
That's fair. That's
Never.
fair to say.
That's
Okay.
fair.
I would never do that for one game. It's like God of War. I absolutely love watching God of War. I've actually watched the full gameplay through on YouTube, which I will probably do the same of it as The Last of Us 2.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But yeah, there is not one game that will make me go out and purchase one console.
And
But,
I really wish more people had that mindset too, because people throw like there's so many dang PlayStation sold this generation specifically for that reason. They like one game, they like, they like Spider-Man, they like, it's like, geez, man, like people just throw their money around too much these days, I think.
Well,
yeah,
you know
but
what?
as the game,
Yeah.
as the game goes, it looks spot on to me. And if
Yeah.
it wasn't on Xbox, I'd give it a go, most definitely. I wish all the Sony players the best of luck with it. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what? I mean, listen, everyone made good points. Right now, we're waiting on Bot. I don't know if he's back. He's still muted. So if I don't see him, I'm going to move on to the next.
He said his heater guy was there. He'll be back.
Okay. Yeah, it's okay. So I didn't see that message. So you know what? That's okay, because I know that he recently was very proud to say that he sold his PS4, even though Mel still has one, and I believe the kids do. I want to
lies.
Yeah. I want to move on to the next topic, and this one is pretty good. And we're going to be talking a little bit into the next gen. EA boss responds to PS5 and next Xbox rumors and suggests that streaming may play a bigger role than what people are, really thinking about. Streaming has been at the forefront of what is going to supposedly move the needle in the next generation. So I want to read a little bit of the article. And I pulled this from comicbook.com. Electronics Arts CEO Andrew Wilson has spoken up to say, you'll have to wait a little longer to learn about new consoles. However, he intriguingly suggested that new consoles could place more of an emphasis on streaming and cloud-based services. And this is his exact quote from the article. And this is Andrew Wilson, who is, of course, the CEO of EA. There are a few articles out there, a few rumors, and a little hearsay as to what the next or new consoles are and when they're coming out. I don't think we're in a position today to have a conversation about that, but just know that we're working with Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo on what the future is going to be in gaming. Even if we are all collectively seeking to move into the next generation, there's still going to be what I think what we all know as your standard hardware with your disc-based games. And that's coming from me. I know a lot. You say streaming and you say cloud and you say digital. There are a lot of folks that get nervous. Two that come to mind, for instance, Noof Nukem. I'm a big fan of him. I love his work. He is still a disc-based guy. Another darling of the community, Lady Foxfire, still buys the discs. And you know what? That's perfectly.
Sorry to interrupt you.
There you go. Here's another one. Titan, I want to go to you on this. Okay. First of all, the CEO coming out and talking about the next generation, and in the same sentence, talking about how cloud-based gaming and digital could be more important than people are really, thinking about. Does that make you nervous or get you excited for the future of what we're going to see on the PS5 and Xbox X2?
Wow, that's a fantastic question. Little of both, I guess. I'm an old school gamer. I like. I'm not quite as old school as Noof. I download my games digitally.
Okay.
I've taken that step into the future. I think I'm going to continue to do that. I haven't bought a physical disc in years. But as far as streaming goes, yeah, it's without a doubt the future, and I think it's going to take a lot of people by surprise. I think the latency is really going to surprise people on how low Microsoft is going to get it, as well as probably Google.
Yep.
But and this is going to attack cell phones, tablets. Like what cell phones and tablets are going to be able to do is going to be unreal to us,
Dude,
like, right now.
I'm so stoked for that. Yep.
Like, can you imagine like playing legit full games on cell phones? It's just going to be insane with from even controllers that hook up to your phone.
Yes.
And streaming boxes, computer apps. This is all like so much new tech is like just over the horizon. It's so exciting. And so it's exciting in that aspect, but also I'm always weary because with new tech comes new problems every time. Name some new tech that's come out that there hasn't been hackers or something, like 1,000,001 problems with it, right? And we're gonna have to tackle those issues as they come along,
right?
And that's the real thing that I'm worried about. I love my traditional home console. That's what I want. I never want that to go away. Will it go away sometime? I'm sure it will at some point.
Maybe 25 years from now, dude. Listen, it's a big market. People want the box underneath the TV.
Yeah, I'm definitely in that group because. And you know what? And that goes in Sony's favor, actually, because Sony does not have like an Azure cloud that they can stream games from.
No,
are they going to borrow some?
Yes, you said it.
They're going to have to borrow someone else's cloud. They are not in the realm of doing this. So they really, I've said this last night, they really need to take home on the next generation. They need to have the power narrative. It needs to be the most cost effective. They essentially need to take a huge loss in the next home console because they are not going to be able to match with streaming with Microsoft and everyone else. Like, what do you think about that?
I think what you're saying is right on point, dude. I mean, listen. If you look at what Sony has done in this generation, and I've said it, I'll say it again. I'm proud to say it. I love their marketing. I think it's so old school. It's so derivative of what I remember growing up, and they took it and they ran and they made the PS4 cool, right? They put out the commercials are just freaking awesome, and they made people go out and buy the box, right? That's what they did. Hey, shit! I mean, look, you take from what my brother and I were having a conversation. Neo Mental on Twitter, follow him. He's a good dude. You take from me, right? Check this out, right? I launched PS4 vanilla, purchased the Destiny White PlayStation vanilla, went out and bought the PlayStation 4 Pro, launch system. And just recently, my wife surprised me with the God of War. So I'm in for 4 consoles, right? That's just little old me. So just imagine what how many other people have done what I've done, which is why they're at 86, 87 million consoles. But, I want to read a little bit more of the article, and I find it very, very interesting. Strauss Zelnick, who is the CEO of Rockstar's parent company, Take-Two Interactive, has said he believes streaming will accelerate the industry's transition away from the closed systems. Bethesda boss Pete Hines recently talked about how he would like the industry to get to a place where you can buy and play a game wherever you want. And of course, Wilson, the CEO of EA, said during the same presentation that he sees a future where you can play games on any device you want with streaming and cloud-based gaming to help accelerate that. Now, I want to go to you, UK Dazarus, on this. When third-party CEOs start talking next gen and how cloud gaming via streaming is going to have a more of an impact than people know, does this really show how forward-thinking these companies are looking into the future?
Oh, it's exactly that, isn't it? They're looking into the future. It's like we're kind of already there now with mobile gaming. You know what I mean? The Switch and all that, tablets, you can do all this now. It's like, so what are they going to come out with in the future? You know what I mean? I'm with everyone else. Well, the hardcore gamers, I prefer my console under the TV.
Yes,
etc. But yeah, like I said, we're already there now. Whatever hardware they're going to bring out is going to be phenomenal at the end of the day.
That's
Well,
the bat train in the
been-
background.
That's
not me.
That's the bat train coming
Yeah, the
through.
bat train. I ain't got a bat train. I've only got a car and a plane. Little train. Anyway, I forgot what I was saying now. Yeah, I'd be more concerned on the battery life of these new things that are coming out.
Yeah. You're definitely you're right. That's a great point, Dad. That is a fantastic point.
It's like now you played like a racing game, a decent looking racing game on your phone. Your phone's at 50% within the hour.
Yeah, it is. It's true.
If not less, especially if you've got things running in the background and that. So that's going to be another factor of all this new hardware that's coming out. But I'm all for it. You know what I mean? The future is the future. Everyone moves on, even technology. So we'll see it'll be. What it'll be. We'll see what's going on in the future.
No, that's great points, dude. I like the battery part because I didn't even consider that. I mean, think about if you're going to be playing a Gears 5 on the go, you know, even if it's not your phone. Let's just say, for instance, you know, we've heard talk that Microsoft is, and we're not going to go too deep into this because it's not one of the topics, but they're currently in development of a controller or like a flip screen with a controller attached to it where you'd be able to play xCloud. What is the battery life on that going to be? Because we know that you're right. I play, you know, you play Words with friends and your battery is 30% loss.
It's because it's not just the game you've got running. You've got the internet, the 4G, 5G, whatever it'll be.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Everything in the background, your Facebook, your Twitter, all that running in the background.
Batteries are gonna be crying.
Yeah. There's gonna be a lot of tears in this river of video
and explosions.
Listen, great points, UK. I really appreciate that, especially the battery life one. That was a real home run. Indy, I want to go to you on this. Every developer wants their big AAA blockbusters in as many hands as possible, and EA is, of course, no stranger to wanting to make maximum profits. Does this concern you as a gamer, or does all of this tech talk, like what we discussed in this, in this particular topic, excite you as to what the future of gaming is going to be?
I think I'm definitely excited about it. It's not, I mean, I will always be, like Daz said, I'll be the one with the box under the TV with the most power I can get, basically. But I think it's excellent. You know, it's change that people fear most, isn't it? That's you know, everyone fears change, whatever it is, moving house or whatever. Doing new things is fearful for people, but especially with technology like this, it's going to change things up quite a bit. But I think, like people have said, there's always going to be the option for the more powerful box that you can have as your home.
Yes.
I think that's a refreshing thing moving forward. I think there'll be a transitional period as well. So potentially maybe in 30 years, it might even be no box there, like you say, or 25 years or something. But yeah, like the thing is as well, like we've got the cloud option, which seems, they're definitely making good strides with that already. Because with the Assassin's Creed trial thing that I saw Super Sonic Station streaming, and that looked pretty damn good, really.
Yes.
And it was pretty seamless. I don't know how it would be with other games like multiplayer games. It might be a bit more of a challenge to get that going, but they're obviously making big strides with it. But the thing, like I was saying, the having the box at home, the powerful one, I think they're potentially, at least for the foreseeable future, is they're going to have that because people always want the most powerful. Well, not always. Most people, like hardcore gamers, will want the powerful box, and to get that, there'll be a time where you can't get that through the cloud streaming.
Right, you're going to actually have to have the box.
Exactly. Yeah,
to take advantage of all the bells and whistles. You're 100% right.
Yeah,
it's also a budget solution.
Yeah,
I agree. Yes,
kids,
exactly. Get more Xbox, consoles in the home. You put it out there for $100-$150. People are not gonna. You're hard, and you said it. The great point, Indy. You're hardcore. your traditionalists, if you will, are going to still go out and buy the $500 box. They're going to want that physical box, underneath their TV that they can, touch and put a disc into. Whereas the younger generation, they're so used to everything being so available at the touch of a button. The X Cloud that's going to be the size of a deck of cards may not be able to do 4K 60, but it's still going to be there as a price option.
Yeah, I mean it's fantastic technology, really. Like, I mean, it's the way it's going to work with. They're going to take the load on their end, excuse the expression.
I could say something there, Indy, but it's not
I was
that
waiting for a UK Dazzers to pop in with something.
We'll wait till you on Dascast again for that.
But yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, it's amazing what they're doing with it, really. Like I say, they're going to take the strain of the at the other end, and you're just going to have good internet, really, to be able to and good battery life, like Daz says. That's an factor if you're going on the hands on the with the hands, not the hands free, you know what I mean, the portable
portable gaming part. That's going to be at the forefront. Is going to be the battery for sure. No doubt about it.
Exactly.
And if you're in the sticks, you're fucked.
Again, this country will eventually catch up to the rest of the world when it comes to getting the proper strong internet that some other countries already have. I'd like to believe that they're, even if you live outside of the big cities, that you're going to be able to take advantage.
What you need is pigeons with satellite dishes flying around all the
time. Let's hope not, because those pigeons can't carry the load. Once again,
we made the fiber. Fine.
All right. Well, listen. Everyone had a fantastic point, and everyone brought up really, really strong points, and I appreciate that, because when we have these shows, or when I do my shows, I want the people listening that are taking the time out of their day to be interested in what we're talking about, and I really love what everyone brought to the table today so far. But I want to move on to the next topic, and I think this is right up UK Dazarus's alley, because he is a huge fighting game fan. As people don't know, he has yet to destroy me or kick my ass in Mortal Kombat. But when
you're ready,
he's gonna destroy me. It's gonna be embarrassing, and he'll probably put it live on his channel, and that's fine. But we're talking about Soul Calibur 6 now. Obviously, Soul Calibur is a storied franchise. It's one of Namco Bandai's more classic games in their catalog, and it released recently. And it's funny because we were talking pre-game, and Bot said, "Yeah, it's a great game. It's getting great reviews, but 5 people bought it." And of course, me and UK Dazarus came to his defense and said, "No, it's 7 because we both have it." But it's they are as a fighting game with with the weapons. It's very impressive where they came from and what they continue to do. But I think what really pushes the game from all other fighting games is their guest characters. That I think it really stands at the forefront of what makes Soul Calibur. Their characters that are in game are fantastic. They have a great, really interesting story. They tell a great story, but the guest characters are what people, a lot of the times buy the games for. And the one guest character that was standing high and proud for Namco Bandai to show out there was Geralt of Rivia from, of course, the Witcher series, who is a playable character. And that's freaking dope. But, they just announced the second guest character, and I think it's really interesting and super cool. So I wanted to talk about that for a bit. It's going to be Yuri number 2 Type B, aka 2B, from Square Enix role-playing game Nier Automata, and I think this is great. She's a fantastic character, and I really think that she can really bring something to the table. Her as a character, she comes armed with her dual blades, her virtuous contract and virtuous treaty, and many of the combat skills that she used within the game Nier Automata. And I think she's going to bring a lot of ingenuity, if you will, to picking her as a fighter in Soul Calibur 6. Titan Drago, I want to go to you, dude. Now, again, if you don't have the game, it's cool because I have it and I have not played it because it's just too much to play. But I think that it's still worth talking about because Soul Calibur, the series could have just died off and no one talked about it, but they brought it back in a big way. What do you think about this particular guest character coming into the roster?
Well, I am not one of the 7, as you said, that bought this game. I remember Soul Calibur on the Dreamcast.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That was one of the best fighting games of all time at the time.
Way ahead of its time, dude.
Yeah, for sure. But nowadays, it's like I think I feel like I'm too much of a value gamer. Call me a cheapskate, call it what you will. But it's like I just don't see the value in those fighting games too much. Like maybe Mortal Kombat is about as far as I can go because they usually add some pretty crazy stuff, and I like the characters more in that game than a Soul Calibur because I just don't have the connection to the Soul Calibur characters that I had with like Mortal Kombat.
I get you. No, listen, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah. So
someone say Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
Well, we'll come to you in a second because he mentioned Mortal Kombat, and of course you popped right on. But we're still discussing Soul Calibur. But anything else you want to add to it, Titan?
No, I'm gonna have to finish him on this.
Very nice, excellent, excellent. Well, listen, Indy, I want to come to you on this. Obviously, there have been some really, and I mean pretty damn awesome guest characters. And I kind of want, before I get your answer on this, I want to go over the list because a lot of people don't know that there have been this many big time characters in there. These are the more notable ones. There's been a ton, but these are the more notable ones. When you say them, you're gonna be like, oh shit, I didn't know they were even in there. You had Link from Legend of Zelda. You had Kratos from God of War. You had Spawn, obviously, Todd McFarlane image character. You had Darth Vader, Yoda, and Starkiller from The Force Unleashed. You had Enzo Artori from, of course, Assassin's Creed. And now you have, obviously, again, Geralt of Rivia and now 2B. This is a storied franchise with guest characters. Besides what the game has, released to good reviews, who would you like to see as a guest character make its way into the game?
Would they often do? They'll do one for the PlayStation fans, and
right? Yes. This time they did something different. They went. It's one for everyone.
Yeah. I was thinking about it actually. It's funny because someone I thought of, and then I looked it up and I actually found out they were already in it, but it was in I think it was a PSP version or something like a handheld version of the game. But I thought it would be really cool to have the Arbiter from
yes. So you mean he was in Killer Instinct 2?
I was in Killer Instinct 2.
Killer Instinct 1. That's not Killer.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah, of course he was. Yeah, I thought because I was thinking like from one for each, so like the Arbiter, and then maybe for like the Sony version, you could have like the Bloodborne guy or something like that. Would be pretty cool.
Dude, that's dope. That's wow, man. I didn't even think about that.
The weapons stuff like that. I think because they're always like weapon-based characters, aren't they? So I was trying to. I think they'd work really well. You've got to sort of what would integrate into the world, if you know what I mean. I think
Distracted in the chat said I'd like to see UK Batteris as a character.
So would I. I'm telling you,
you'll see UK Batteris battering. Boom. Don't worry about it.
I'd like to see Titan Drago in there, to be honest.
Absolutely. Well, listen, dude, great points. Anything else you want to add before I move on to UK Batteris, the fighting game man of the panel?
Just that I love the Arbiter. That's all. I love the Arbiter as the character in Halo. But that's it. Yeah, no. Nothing
wrong with that. Yeah, he did well in Killer Instinct. That's a game that is one of my personal favorite games of all time. I'm expecting, and I hope I'm not let down, that we're going to get a Killer Instinct, because I think it's time for a proper Killer Instinct 2. And I've heard from several sources that we may get that announcement at XO18. But nice. UK Dazers, I want to go on to you, dude. Obviously, I mean, out of everybody in the panel, and if you don't know UK Dazarus, fighting games as well as racing games are his bags, right? That's where he could really hang his hat and open up a can of whoop ass on people. But you know, you obviously got your hands on Soul Calibur 6.
I ain't got it yet. I'm getting the end of the month. Boom.
Okay, so you're gonna, but you are gonna pick it up. You're obviously excited because you're a fighting game fan. What guest character for you personally would you like to see them possibly bring in maybe a Soul Calibur season pass or even the next iteration of the game?
Like, for a start, I do not want to see anyone from Mortal Kombat.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, no, that's okay.
Because we've got that in Injustice.
It seems
right?
wrong.
You know, but I'd like to see some characters from old school games like Samurai Showdown.
Ah, good one. That's a great one, dude. Yeah, that's good.
You know what I mean? And the odd one from Killer Instinct. Like, I'd like to see Orchid or some similar character who has the weapons.
That's
you know
I didn't even think about that. That would be fantastic. And you know what? Indy actually brought it up because he, back in the days, each game for each console had a unique character to it because obviously of the rights. So seeing like Orchid or even someone like Jago, for instance, he uses a sword, right? I mean, he fights with his hand, but you can give him a sword and have him use it as being as an exclusive to the Xbox version, and maybe adding the new Kratos. But great point, dude.
Yeah,
I gotta disagree with one thing. I think Scorpion could be thrown in any game.
Yeah,
that is true.
Yeah, and I'll just fuck you all up.
Get over here.
He is a legend, Scorpion. Yeah,
Wow,
it would feel a bit odd though. He's a bit too dark for the Soul Calibur world, in my opinion.
Yeah, he is. But they've had some dark ones in there as well. You know what I'm saying?
You could even get a Ninja Turtle in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, not a bad grab. My personal three would be Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, who was supposed to be in, I believe, Soul Calibur 3, and something happened with Square where they pulled him out at the last minute. Dante from Devil May Cry would be a fantastic addition.
Good shout.
And Ganondorf from The Legend of Zelda. Those are my three picks. Nice. I would love to see those in like I said, as guest characters. I don't know if they have a season pass for Soul Calibur 6, but if they do, they do have one. So I'm probably going to get it because I do really dig like the guest characters, and I don't want to piecemeal them. I'd rather just pay the $20 or $25 and get that last character for free or whatever. But listen, let me just say this: we're at the 2-hour mark, and this has been one hell of a show. I got almost every topic in I wanted to. The only one that wasn't is not that big of a loss. Everyone on the panel just really knocked it out of the park. Once again, the chat was complete fire from start to finish. And of course, like I always say in all of my shows, I've been told this by many people in private DMs that the chat that for the people that come out to the chat for my shows is a good crowd. They're respectful with one another, and they come here to have fun. And that's really what I want to do as a host. I want to entertain people listening. I want to entertain and bring in a strong panel of people like I did today. But I also want the chat to be a really cool and safe space. And you know what? I don't do that. The people on the panel don't do that. People in the chat do that. So good on you that you guys play nice with one another. You're there just talking games. Everyone's becoming friends. And I really dig that. But you know what? This show wouldn't be the show with just BoomStick talking. I mean, I could talk your ears off, but the reality is that I couldn't put on a show this epic without my panel. And you know what? Even though Xbot had to leave a little early, he did have someone coming to the house. So if he doesn't get here before, I'm done with the everyone's, outros. Thank you, brother. I don't know why I could not remember that. I will give him a proper one because he deserves it. But you know what? Titan Drago, I want to go to you, dude. Listen, first of all, this is your first time on my show, and I really, truly hope it's not the last. You were fantastic. I really became a fan of yours listening to you on Salty's show, because you know what? You wear your opinions on your sleeve and you're not ashamed to talk about them. And I dig that. I think that the honesty is really what sets you apart from many, many YouTubers. Please tell everyone where they could follow you, listen to you, and hit you up on Twitter.
Yeah, man, I'm everything at Titan Drago. I'm talking Xbox Live, Twitter, YouTube. Come by, check out my channel, man. I had an amazing time on this show. It was like, I really appreciate it. Boom, you literally gave like the best intros I've ever heard on any podcast today, man. Bravo, 5 stars. It was awesome to talk with you guys in the panel. And Indy, who I always text in the chat, but it's good to hear his voice and stuff. Good to see him on a panel. It was awesome. I'm sorry you guys had to listen to because I'm like the morning Drago, and I'm not a morning person. But it is what it is. And you can find me at Titan Drago, where I'm always trying to bring the common back to sense.
Yeah, yes. I love it. I love it. I love it. Listen, listen, dude. You know what? We're gonna hook up again for sure. I really had a fun time with you on, and maybe the next time we'll get you a Red Bull or something. Send that out. You know what I'm saying? Or beer, right? Well, you're not in the morning. Otherwise, you're an alcoholic. Don't do that.
It's your birthday. You can get away with it, Boom.
I would have definitely did if I didn't have to work today. But
well, that's cool, dude. But UK Batteris, who has now been born on this show, and I'm proud of that. Listen, UK, we're friends, but we're more than that. We're brothers. I've met a lot of people that I may not ever actually meet in real life, and you're one of the people that I am definitely striving to bring the missus to the UK to hang out and maybe sit down and actually have a beer and a steak.
I'll bring my missus as well. We could do wife swap for it there, baby.
But listen, you are a huge light in this community. You, like I said, I gave you the hashtag moderator of the universe for a reason, and you really go out of your way. You're like a real special community good guy. Like I said, when you tweeted last night that you hashtag mooched or won Red Dead, I couldn't be happier, because you deserve it 10 times over. Please tell everyone where they could follow you on YouTube and on Twitter, and maybe hit you up on Xbox Live.
Cheers, Bo. Very much appreciated. Yeah, we had to get rid of one dickhead in the chat, but that only one today. So good chat, peeps. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at UK Dazarus, YouTube UK Dazarus. I'll put on my shit in the chat in a minute. You can also find me on the Dazcast once a month. This month we're going on the 28th, which is payday, so I'll definitely have beer.
Yes,
you know what I mean. And every other Thursday, or whenever Slowback, aka Fastback, decides to do a show on the WDFC Who the Fuck Cares podcast. And on Tuesdays, you can find me 7 p.m. Eastern on Retro Renegades with Supersonic Station and Graphic God, and sometimes Stinky Baby.
Yes.
Yeah,
well, that's awesome.
Yeah, baby. yeah. Cheers, Boom. Always a pleasure to be on the Breakfast with Boom.
Absolutely, dude. I definitely appreciate you taking the time to hang out. It's always a lot of fun. I know you're off this week. Are you off next week as well?
Yeah, I've got 2 weeks off, baby. That's plenty of Red Dead and Shadow Tomb Raider, baby, and a bit of Forza. Yes.
Excellent. And you know what? Like I said, last but certainly not least, making his debut on my show, exploding the internet with his presence and his good guyness, if you will, the indie gamer. Listen, dude, you knocked it out of the park. No reason to be nervous, and you killed it, just like you did the other day when you were on your first show. And I was on there with you. That was the Dazcast, where you just you killed it then, you killed it now. I love your insight to gaming. I think you are, again, one of the shining lights in this community, because you support everybody.
Thank you.
And that's a big deal. You know what I'm saying? You are always in the chat. You're always talking with other gamers, and you know what? You can't discount that. Please tell everyone where they could follow you, and if you have I believe you have a YouTube channel.
I do have a small
put it out there for everyone to to sign up. Give this guy a sub and give him a follow on Twitter.
Thank you so much, Boom. You are the absolute man. Honestly, it's been such a blast, and I couldn't have asked for better people to be on with. There's a lot of great people in this community, but the guys on today are just amazing. Each and every one of you. Honestly, it's such as you know, Boom, I've watched this show quite a lot and been a massive fan of you and your work and everything you do basically within the community. All of you guys as well, literally awesome, and I've had a total blast day. Thank you very much. And if you do want to follow me, you can do so on Twitter, which is indie_gamer_01. And then I would love it if you did come over to my YouTube channel. It's only very small, so you could be one of the few followers, and that would be be massively appreciated if you did come over there. And if you wanted to do that, there's a link in this video description.
It's in the chat as well.
I have it.
I'll be there, brother. I will be there. What is up, people?
Thank you so much.
You got here in the nick of time.
Just wanted to say as well, chat, you're amazing. All of you people in the chat, I love you all. You're all fantastic. So thank you to everyone, and thank you Export, thank you Titan, thank you Daz, and thank you Boom. You're amazing.
Oh, listen, it's my pleasure. Hey, listen, you missed a little of the show, but you know what, Bot? It's okay because
dude, I need a whole pilot assembly on my heater.
That sucks. But you know what? Look. We're doing outros, and you deserve them just like everybody else, because you know what? You are out there with the community. You play games, multiplayer games with the community, but you have a lot of stuff going on. And the next podcast is a special show, and I think everyone should hit Bot up and give him a follow on Twitter, and obviously sub his channel because he does put out really awesome content. Bot, tell everyone where they could find you, bro.
Yeah, brother, I keep everything simple. First of all, thank you for all the compliments. I really do appreciate that. The community is absolutely outstanding. If it wasn't for the community, I know my channel would not be where it is right now. It is steadily growing, and it is thanks to you guys. If you haven't checked out my channel, it is Xbot448 on YouTube. I keep everything really simple, whether it's Xbox Live, Twitter, or YouTube. It's all Xbot448. And guys, stay tuned, especially on Twitter and stuff like that. I am working on something for an XO live reaction, possibly 2 different podcasts coming together on my channel for a live reaction. I'm trying to finalize the whole thing, and nice. So stay tuned on Twitter and see who might be joining the next podcast this next Saturday for the XO live reaction. I think it's gonna be great, man. Awesome.
Well, listen, before I go, just wanted to throw this out there. I have been contacted by several people privately in the DM, and I know that people have donated almost to the point of making me have tears. Donated to the super chat, and it's greatly appreciated. But I again, I'm learning on the job, and I just added it. If you wanted to support Double Barrel Gaming, and let's say, for instance, you wanted to donate directly to me, you can now. I have linked, finally, I've learned how to do it. I linked my PayPal me account. It's at the header on the right-hand side, right next to the Twitter icon. I was gifted, yesterday, someone gifted me $125. And half of that, of course, is going to breast cancer awareness. I obviously made that pledge for the month of October. 50% of all earnings was being donated. But it blew my mind. And it's just, like I said, if you want to help the channel grow, to help me, to do more giveaways, which is something I want to do, and you want to donate privately, hit me up in the DM, say, hey, Boom, listen, I'm going to send you a couple of bucks, and just look for your PayPal account. I would greatly appreciate it. Like I said, I don't do this for money. I do this for the love of the community and, of course, the video game realm. But I want to say thank you to the chat. You guys were awesome as usual. My panel was fantastic from start to finish. And I just want to say, have a fantastic weekend. Don't forget to put back the clocks. You're going to get that extra hour of sleep. That's finally happening here in the Americas.
You've done that, Boom.
Yeah, I know. Everywhere but America. We're always so damn slow. But Have a fantastic weekend, and I will see everyone on the next episode of Breakfast with Boom. Have a great day, everybody.
Later, peeps.